good. Following on from Tuesday night then, what was the general mood in the camp following the game?
I think it was a good mood in the end. It's a tough place to go. They've got some decent players, and obviously they've got a system that they use. They're good at it, very good at home record, and I think they've got aspirations of finishing well up the table. Possible playoff contenders. So to go down there and go behind and turn it around in the manner that we did eventually, the bus was, coming home was better than what it could have been.
When things are in a slightly difficult position and results and goal scoring isn't perhaps going your way, is the constant Saturday, Tuesday schedule a help or a hindrance in kind of trying to rebuild the momentum?
It's good when you're winning. I have to say, Alex, it's good when you're winning. It's not bad when you're losing either sometimes, because you don't get a chance to dwell on anything. You've just got to turn the players round and get them back out there. So, we can make excuses on the Tuesday, Saturday situation as much as we want, but it's almost the same for everybody else. It's not something I think we need to keep dwelling on. Works in your favour sometimes, with in terms of injuries and fatigue, but sometimes it can work against you. So, I think you've just got to get on with it, deal with it, and not use it as something there that's something you might want to use as an excuse.
Because we heard before the game against Boreham Wood, and before last weekend actually, that the players had a meeting to discuss the recent games. So how much ownership are they taking throughout this current spell over the last few weeks?
I just think that the whole lot of us take ownership. Staff are very much together. The players are very much together. I spoke to one or two of them at breakfast today. We've all got one common goal. We all want the same thing. So how you go about it doesn't really matter. They've got to talk as a group about what they think they can, do to keep things right and keep things going on the ascendancy. And as a group of staff, we do the same. So nothing uncommon with players having meetings, and I think it'll happen to every single club, whether you're doing well or not doing well. Sometimes you have meetings to keep up the good work. Sometimes you have meetings to address things you think might be able to do better. So it's not something that I would be worried about in any shape or form. If it was a whole load of things coming back from the meeting that they thought that the club were getting wrong, or as a group of players or as a group of staff, we have problems. But I think it's all positive. It was all, let's stick together. Let's work to get the right results and the right performances on the pitch.
The manager told us last week that when a result doesn't go the side's way, that he does a bit of soul searching, and it can be quite a lonely place for him. As the assistant, what's your reaction to periods of difficulty? Are you the same, or you've already mentioned that you don't tend to dwell, but what's your kind of overall attitude during those times? Yeah,
I probably work more harder as a support mechanism for the manager. When we're losing, it's easy. When you're winning, you can just roll in and keep things ticking over. But I think when one or two performances, and I wouldn't even say results, because I think the results over the last 13, 14 games is still quite a good on paper sort of situation. But if performances aren't quite right, then you've got more conversations to have with the manager. But my role is more supportive, I would say, when the performances aren't as where we want them to be, to offer different options, different opinions, and see how they marry up with what the manager's thinking. And certainly, in terms of a comforting arm, if I said I'd give that to the manager, he'd be a bit offended. He's a tough guy, he's an honest guy, and he respects what I say. He takes on board some of it. He deals with opinions from all sorts of different places, and he makes his own mind up, and we give him 100% support with everything he decides from there.
The fans are clearly very eager to get back to the Football League where the club belongs, and we see the calls and the texts and the tweets that come in after every game at the moment. Of course, you don't have the fans there. It's clear at the moment that emotions and feelings are running high. It's a difficult time. As the assistant, do you feel that kind of same pressure as much as the manager does?
I would like to. I would like to think that half of it comes on my shoulders and he deals with half and I deal with half. But I don't get distracted, to be honest, with anything from outside, because I don't really listen to what's going on, because it can almost affect your decision making, almost affect your mindsets. I think you've got to keep a clear head, believe in what you're doing, have a clear philosophy in how you want to play, how you want to train, how you want to approach games, and you've got to stick to that. Listening to too many things can sometimes, affect that judgment. And I think, as a manager and assistant manager, I don't think the manager looks for too many pats on the back when he's doing well, and I don't think he looks for too many situations from the other side when things aren't going so well. He just keeps a level head, trusting his beliefs in what he's doing, and as an assistant manager, as a staff, and as a group of players, we're trying our best to support that. And fans' frustration will always be there. This is a club that's, in their eyes, probably in the wrong division, needs to be higher, and the expectancy levels are there. There's no shirking away from that, and we'll be doing our best to put that right as best we can, as quick as we can, and mount a charge to get right up the top end of this table, and that's what you do on a day-to-day basis.
Just want to ask about the new additions over the recent weeks. How have they been to work with on the training ground and to have around the dressing room?
Well, I think everybody loves coming to the club. This is a really, really good club at this level, and the people coming in see it as a real stepping stone in the right direction for their careers. So, on the training ground, all the new players, look at the facilities we've got, look at the work we do prior to even going out the training ground. I've never, this is, it really is as good as most League One clubs and Championship clubs in terms of the preparation to what we do before we even get on the pitch, and then what the work they do on the pitch is worked out. It's got a theme to it. It's got a purpose, and I think the new signings have loved it and are quite surprised at where we are in terms of training facilities and training programmes.
It's unusual in any season to face the same team in consecutive games. It's what you've got with Yeovil. It almost feels like a kind of a double-headed cup tie, doesn't it? Does it make it easier or harder to prepare knowing that it is a double-header? You're playing two teams, the same team twice.
Yeah, I don't think it really matters that much. Obviously, it's an advantage if we get a result on Saturday, going down to their place, a good result, good performance. You might get them double thinking, and how do we change things? How do we make up the difference? And we think that's really important, in terms of how we approach Saturday's game to win that, because we're playing them again so soon, and that sort of momentum and that impetus it might give you winning the game. We carry forward into Tuesday, whichever team gets that result.
Finally, from me, just want to know, just in general, how enjoyable has it been for you this time round at the club so far, given the way the world is right now?
Yeah, I mean, in that respect, it's kept me sane. Most people would say there's not many things that could do that for you, Greg, but it has sort of kept me sane. It's stopped me from thinking about too much happening around us and all the implications that go with the COVID. So we've almost had normality. With the only thing is missing the fans. It's all right listening to on the social media, but we want them at the grounds. We think there could be a big advantage in what happens at the grounds. Is you hear all the positive ones, you hear all the ones that are getting behind you and want to get the stuck into the team to help them on, and when things don't go quite right on the pitch, so that side of it in football's not quite been right. The lack of fans, but sort of like a working week, nothing's changed for us, and it certainly helped us all in this industry that we can come to work and do things that a lot of us can't.
Thank you, Greg. All the best this weekend.
Cheers, Alex. Thank you, bud.
Thanks, Greg. Over to you, Lee.
Hi, Greg. I just wanted to know, obviously you were here as part of that memorable Great Escape season, and obviously what the club achieved in that short space of time to the back end, and how they finished it and stayed up. I wonder what kind of experience you took from that you can apply to this time around in terms of being at the other end of the table.
Yeah, it's totally different, Lee, to be honest. We weren't expected to win games. At that particular time, we were looked as a team. I mean, I think we were 14 points adrift or something like that when we turned up, and we changed things around, and we got impetus, and we got a lot of belief and a lot of support. It was crazy. I mean, the Oldham game, in terms of the support was phenomenal, and you'd have thought we'd have actually won promotion. After the game, it was. I think about 5,000 fans went. It was ridiculous. This time round, slightly different, because we're the expectant team now, so the pressure's different. When you fall below that, you don't get the sort of sympathy vote. If you lose a game or draw a game, people think it's not the end of the world, but it's a real downer, and you get a little bit of negativity surrounding it. So in that respect, the pressure's probably heaped on you a little bit more, and that's the big difference. I think before, nobody expected us to survive. So when we did it, it was a great achievement. This will be a great achievement in a different manner, because everybody looks at Notts County as the team in the league, as one of the teams in the league. They're set up different, their approach is different, their mentality to the game is higher than it is normally, and we have to deal with that. There's no getting away from it, we have to deal with it as a club. And it comes with the territory. We know where we are now. But, we've just got to kick on, make sure we don't, again, use that as anything that's going to detract us from everybody's goal, and that's to win games and fly up the table.
I mean, obviously, I know the manner of the way that you came back. I know perhaps the performance quite perhaps at the level that you would have wanted, but the manner in which the team fought back, the spirit they showed, what was the mood kind of like on the bus on the way back?
Yeah, I think the players are decent. And they know the game. They know when they're on a real good run of form and playing, right at the top end of their potentials. I think they realised how important the result was, how important the comeback was, how much that improves the momentum, how much it keeps the mood right today, and it shows that we can come behind, because we've gone behind one or two times this season, and with the goal scoring, not where we want it to be in terms of getting a few more. It's been difficult for us, and that might have been a game we might have lost. But the players, to credit to them, they dug deep. They kept putting the ball in the areas. The delivery for the 2 goals was fantastic. It could have been a game where they could have thought it's there again. We're not going to get anything out of it. So the mood swing is totally different in the dressing room straight after and on the bus coming back. But then in reflection, the players think we can be better. We think we can play better. We can get better results. But they're level-headed about it. But they know the importance of gaining results in situations like that. We've played really well this season and not got out of it what we've needed to. So in that respect, it sort of levels off a little bit. But listen, we've gone to a place that's a tough place to go and got a point from 2-0 down. I'm taking that as a positive. And there's no way anybody can tell me that we should be in a poor state of mind coming back. And I told the players that, and we sat and had a cup of tea, halfway back on the journey. It's a long way back, isn't it? And and reflected, and a lot of sense was talked, and there's a lot of determined players in that group who want to see this through and get the results we need.
It's just interesting that you touched upon the goal scoring. Obviously, that has been a problem this year. Karl Wootton, I think, is leading. Second top scorer in the league, has accounted for nearly half of the goals. And why do you think there's been such a problem in front of goal this season?
Listen, I think teams generally make life a little bit more difficult against us. They sometimes they sit back, they get men behind the ball quickly. They're out of possession. They're quick to get into a good defensive shape. And sometimes our play has not been quick enough, decisive, inventive enough at times to get them goals. Set pieces has been something I think that usually add to people's amount of goals. We haven't scored enough. Great the other night that we got 2. Hopefully, the system we've got and the bodies we've got on the pitch, the personnel that we're using at the minute, that should improve, because you've got people there that are brave and will stick their head on things, and if the delivery's right, you'd expect us to cause a lot of teams a lot of problems. And listen, we've missed 1 or 2 big players in the goal scoring areas, haven't we? I think it's common knowledge that Karl would chip in with a fair amount. We've lost Christian and we lost Wes, who are goal scoring proven at this level. So not always easy, to replace that type of goals at this level. It's probably something a lot of other clubs are talking about, Lee, and you have the same problem. And it's the area where it's difficult to find and it's most expensive to put in place.
Just on team news at the weekend, any injuries picked up from Tuesday night?
No, I don't think so. I think most of them have come through all right. The treatment room was pretty empty when I went in today just to do a check. I don't think they were hiding from me. I think they were generally doing their rehab work, so they're all right. I didn't hear anybody grumbling about knocks. To be fair, I think they're all ready to train tomorrow and want to get back on the pitch, and they like playing, they like competing, and I think the synergy was let's get in the morning, let's train well, let's prepare right, let's pick the team, and let's go and get another a good result out of the game. So I think the place is all right at the moment.
And just on Lewis Knight, I think Neil said that he obviously busy trying to work on his fitness because he's not played since January. But in the times that you've seen him train, can you tell us what he's like? Yeah,
he's different. He's quick. He's different to what we've got. He wants to run in behind. He wants to be nuisance value to defenders when they've got it. In terms of stopping them playing out with freedom. But I think his biggest strength is he will run in. He will get beyond people. He'll get the wrong side of defenders, and he's got an eye for a goal. He's scored goals at a team that haven't done particularly well in one division below us. So, we see Lewis as a bit of a project for the club. If there's 4 or 5 games to go, we might be lumping him in straight away. But with 20 odd games to go, the rush isn't as imminent. There's a massive part of the season to go, and if you threw him in early and we got him injured, we might never find out about him. So it's important we get him properly fit and give him a fighting chance, because he's going to get judged. As soon as he crosses that white line, nobody's going to say, well, you haven't played for 6 weeks. They're going to say, he's fit, he's not done this, he's not done that. What have we got here? So we've got to be fair on him with his injury prevention, and also getting him up to speed so he shows a good side of himself when he finally makes his entrance. But I don't think he's a million miles away.
Really? Has he already shown sort of flashes of why you decided to bring him to the club?
Yeah, I think so. I think the lads look at him, think pace, genuine pace, looking to go that way rather than this way, if that makes sense. Looking to running beyond the defenders rather than come short. So that's different. So I think when you're getting 4 strikers, it's important that you get different types. They can all complement each other, and you can change it if one sort of player, one type of player is not working. And he's certainly one that wants to go forward rather than backwards, which he's, to be fair, he's a fan's dream, isn't he? They see that runner, get onto flick-ons or get onto balls in the channels, runs people down, gets beyond them and creates stuff. I think that's where he is. But he's still got everything in front of him, a lot to prove, and but he's going in the right direction fitness-wise, and I think he's getting closer all the time.
And just finally, what's the latest on Karl Roberts, Richard Brindley, Kenton,
Yeah.
Tyler Golden, the curse of the right back?
The curse of the right back. So I don't think any of them will be fit enough to be involved. I don't think. You don't quote me on that, although I think Brins is still having a few issues, but I think they're getting better. They're dealing with them. They're building up his strength in them areas. And Karl is one of them. I don't want to talk too much about. I get excited myself about seeing Karl back on the training ground and that. So we just got to make sure he's got the right amount of mileage in his legs to not break down. I think we need him when he comes back on the training field next time. He's on and he's staying on and he's going to contribute. Now, if we have to wait another 2-3 games, we have to wait. But listen, we're all in the same boat as everybody else. And I think the players as well. They'll see him as a big bonus and a boost because he's got obvious quality and he gets goals.
Lovely, thank you, mate.
All right, Lee.
Thanks, Greg. Ethan, I think you've got a couple of questions on a separate topic, haven't you?
Yeah, thank you. Hi, Greg.
Hi, Ethan. Are you back with us, mate? You just broke up there, pal.
Sorry, I said, how are you?
I'm all right, mate. I'm good.
In the top half of the table, it's you and Maidenhead who have played the least amount of games on 25. Do you see this as an advantage or a hindrance?
It depends. I wouldn't say it's an advantage or a hindrance at the minute. It's obviously we'd like to have another 3 or 4 games played and another 9 or 10 points. That'd be great, and then it means the congestion at the end of the season will be more limited. But listen, it's something that's there. We've got to deal with it. The more you talk about it, the more you think about it, the more it becomes an issue. I don't really talk about stuff like that. If it's a game on Saturday, we're playing a game, let's win it. Next one's on Tuesday, let's go and win that one. One after that, let's go and win that one. Rather than think, we've got 6 or 7 games in X amount of times. We've just got to deal with that in terms of the way we train, the way we rehab after games and re-prepare for the next one. So not going to use that either as an advantage or a disadvantage.
Although you haven't been at Notts County for all of it, we're coming up to a year of lockdowns. How has that been for you coming into the club?
Yeah, good. I think for all of the people that work in the club, it's great. I feel for the fans who are chomping at the bit to get in there and support us and get behind us. And when we go 1-0 down now and again, hear their voices and show their support for the players and help us along. We have a good following support away from home and a real strong support at home, and we've missed them. For us, it's been business as normal, if you like. We're allowed to come into work and we get on with that, and things have been fine.
So you're saying the club have handled the coronavirus situation well?
I think as well as they can. Yeah, I think as well as they can. I think the protocols they put in place have been pretty workable. Like everybody else, we've had 1 or 2 issues, but which it's almost impossible not to have 1 or 2 cases. But I think by and large, what's happened here and the way we've segregated everything off and done everything, it's been tough for the people doing that. Jason and the rest of the staff have done a great job with that. It's almost easy for us because we're just led in by what they say and try and take care of our bit and do that as best we can. But I think the players have been pretty good by and large and keeping to the protocols and not having as more than cases than need be.
Do you think when the fans come back, they'll give the players a big boost there?
Massive, yeah, massive. I think football without fans is almost false, isn't it? it's just not quite right. You know, I've missed people calling me all sorts of names on the touchline, believe it or not. I'm actually must be a bit of a sadist. It's been too nice. Do you know what I mean? It's been scary. I'm not used to it, Ethan. So you know, we need them back. You know, they're part of what we're all about. They're part of the club. Your fans are your big. You know, they're here for the long haul. We just pass through. You just pass by, but they're here, and you know, some have been probably coming for 40, 50 years, and will come longer. So it's important they get back and as quickly as possible.
You host Yeovil on Saturday, and you're 4 points ahead of them. Do you see that as a must-win?
Not really. We listen. We need to win because winning games is what you're here for. You know, I think every game's a must-win because it's your next game. So I think we've just got to get into a positive mindset that it's the next game coming up. We need the points because we need to start putting pressure on teams around us and above us. So in that respect, we'll be going all out to get that win.
Lastly, how far do you think this squad can go this season?
That's a great question. I have no idea because I haven't got that crystal ball in front of me. But you know, with the workload that everybody's putting in, we've got to get as far as we possibly can and keep driving everything forward and keep everyone believing. I think at the minute that's the key, that we approach everything in a positive manner and you know, win every game that's possible and see where them amount of wins take us. That's all we can control.